Online Disinhibition Effect. So John Soler, who has a PhD and specializes in studying the behavior of people online, has written this article explaining and defining different aspects of online disinhibition effect. There are two different disinhibitions that play a role in online disinhibition effect. There's benign disinhibition and toxic disinhibition. Benign disinhibition, people often show kindness and generosity, as well as revealing emotions, fears, and wishes that aren't openly expressed offline. Toxic disinhibition, however, shows rude language, criticism, hatred, and threats, and it's often done anonymously or in large groups attacking one specific group or person. In the first article, the benign online disinhibition effect is actually a second part to an earlier article talking about toxic online disinhibition. So it was designed as a continuation of an earlier study conducted on the toxic effects of online disinhibition. It discusses anonymity and invisibility and lack of eye contact. It begins by defining anonymity as a major determinant of disinhibited behavior. It refers to the condition of being unknown to others in terms of staying incognito to avoid personal identification. It also discusses the use of online groups and how participants and interactions can affect participants involved in these discussions, whether it be toxic or benign. In this article, it also discusses how people in groups or forums can kind of persuade each other into doing or saying certain things, which can lead to a term called cybermobbing, which is where large groups or communities attack or patronize certain people due to different things they disagree on.
I owe them an explanation and an apology.
I owe everybody an explanation, but most importantly, I owe two important people an apology.
So sorry, you guys.
I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize.
So the video just shown was a response to cancel culture. It is a bunch of influencers who are apologizing online. This is usually done due to harassment, not necessarily because they apologize themselves, but because they're being canceled, which is a term used especially in social media where they attack one person online. In the second article titled Effects of Anonymity, Invisibility, and Lack of Eye Contact, their goal was to see how 142 participants who engaged in anonymity, invisibility, and lack of eye contact behavior online would show aggression or flaming behaviors. So in the results, they actually found that because of the lack of eye contact and the whole anonymity process, people are more likely to engage in harsh behavior because they've seen no repercussions of it, because no one actually knows who's saying what they're saying. The ways in which they tested the flaming behavior was through textual analysis. This was from expressions in swear words, derogatory names, use of symbols and punctuations marks conveying hostility or aggression. This seemed to be a result of the assurance that anonymity was guaranteed. It assigned participants random aliases with no further identification. The evidence in this article often reminded me of the term trolling, which is when people go online and they use anonymous accounts with no identifiers to say things that are controversial or their honest opinions, which cause a lot of controversy. This kind of harassment is often found in social media accounts like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. People leave a lot of harassment or comments on these profiles. The idea of trolling refers back to the second article by how it showed the results that people who have no identifiers in their profiles or accounts can feel free to say or do whatever they want online because there's no way they can say who it was, and they can't be punished for it. In the third article, The Effects of Anonymity on Self-Disclosure in Blogs, it discusses the personalities of 154 personal journal blogs, where it compares the breadth, depth, and self-disclosure in each blog entry, while also comparing how much these people shared about their personal selves, whether it be their name or visual identifications.
Within 72 hours of publishing the first night, it had garnered 184,265 notes. And 3 weeks later, Kat had amassed over 53,000 followers. She had become extremely popular online. No one in real life knew that she was famous.
The video just shown is of Kat from Euphoria, which is a show on HBO. It shows how she has an online persona in her blog, which is loved and idolized through fans, but yet in person, she's not necessarily seen as a popular individual. This relates to the third article on how people could feel more confident online due to anonymity. Cybermobbing, trolling, and anonymity in blogs and self-disclosure are just a few examples of how online disinhibition effect affects many different people. It doesn't matter if it's benign or toxic, it's an actual thing that many people face day to day due to anonymity and self-expression, and it can affect other people's lives, whether they're the ones who are being negatively affected in toxic disinhibition or positively affected in benign disinhibition.